Spencer, alongside Ben Shalom in studio with Simon and myself this lunchtime. Integrity and loyalty. Should we still expect that from a fighter?
I don't think this sort of ever existed, if I'm totally honest. Like, when you're talking about loyalty, if a fighter does get an opportunity, and I know I've talked about this with Conor Benn, but that was slightly different circumstances going back deeper into that situation. But no, look, the fighter's always, he's the one putting his neck on the line. And if he's got no contract at a time of another conversation going on, of course he's going to go where the money is, because it's a very short-lived business. And I think that, yeah, loyalty is something that's sort of non-existent in boxing to many, I mean, you do get it, but not very much.
Well, I want to get Ben's reaction to this, because certainly it surprised Eddie Hearn, did it not, when Conor Benn pitched up and said goodbye to him and that he was joining Zuffa. Ben Shalom, promoter to promoter, do you sympathise with Eddie Hearn there in his predicament?
As a promoter, yes. I think sometimes promoters are always made out like the bad ones and this or that, but you have fighters, and especially ones that you start with, and they're leaning on you and they're telling you that they want to get to the top, and can you just do this, and can you just do that, and can you just prioritize, and this and that. Ultimately, you back the ones that you think are going to get there and make the most money. So I can sympathize, and usually it's the people around these guys, the ones that need a change, that get power by moving, sometimes the managers or people that come around, that definitely is. But to be honest, the way they reacted, I thought it was a parody. I thought it was a complete joke. I mean, they have been doing this to fighters and taking fighters, various fighters, Matchroom, for a long time, that have been built by other promoters, and putting it down to money, and putting it down to short careers, and putting it down to no loyalty in boxing, and glorifying it and taking the mickey with it and this and that. So I genuinely could not believe the reaction to Conor going to the highest bidder.
Is this a bit of karma then?
I mean, I just couldn't believe the reaction. When Whittaker left, right, they tried to talk down the job that I did. I did an unbelievable job through injuries, through controversies, to things that behind the scenes that I had to deal with, looking after him on a personal level. No text, no call was in. I believe, in my honest opinion, that contract got interfered with, and it was like, don't tell Shalom, because we're going to, and then it was show me the money. And that's all it was. And it became, let's make a big deal out of this, that forget what Ben's done for him. This is how it works.
What do you mean, Ben, when you say the contract get interfered with?
No, but let me make the point.
That's quite an allegation.
I said in my honest opinion.
Yeah, but what do you mean by it?
That will take its due course. What I'm saying is,
but Matchroom,
what I'm saying is,
defend themselves.
Jim, what I'm saying is, you can't operate like that with a fighter and tell everyone in the world that there is no loyalty, and it was classless. Let's be honest, it was completely classless the way they went about that, and the way they tried to bury me with that.
So on Ben did
I come out and say no, my relationship with the fighter, and he knows that, and so it will always be between me and him what he did, right? Always. And same with Eddie and Conor. Only those two know the relationship and how they behaved and who were the people around them and whether they can live with that. But the way they went about it, and for it to happen in exactly the same way, where someone's come in and paid them an obscene amount of money and got one over them, to act like that. I've got a business where I put my own money in, I had to start, and it did affect me. It doesn't affect Eddie Hearn's life, the way that he's rolling around and the way that they're all coming out crying about what Conor's done. Yes, do I agree with it? But it's absolutely one of the most hypocritical things I've ever seen. It's not just Ben Whittaker. I've seen it done to other promoters. I've seen it done where they laugh about it and they say, you know what? They built their business and their whole brand on, we only care about profits. We only care about money. And then they start seeing you coming out or whatever, say, oh, but his two best friends in the stable were Anthony Joshua and Conor Benn. Why were his two best friends the ones that make him the most money? Isn't that one of the most ridiculous coincidences?
Who said that, by the way? In the
whole of boxing.
When did I say that?
Whether it was you or one of the other, or Tony Belly or whatever it was, right? I'm saying I've seen it a lot. These were the two that he was most close with. Honestly, I'm sat here thinking, are you taking the... You know? And the whole thing was hilarious.
What has happened to Eddie Hearn and
Matchroom
regards Conor Benn? What's happened to Eddie Hearn and Matchroom regards Conor Benn going to Zuffa? What's happened to them? He's been doing to others for a considerable period of time. So this is a bit of karma.
And laughing about it and enjoying it. There's no loyalty. Show me the money. And then it gets done to them, and they're all crying and talking about loyalty.
But Ben,
loyalty. Frank Smith, and I hate saying his name because he's Eddie's runner, chose Conor Benn over his own brother-in-law, and then wants to talk about loyalty. Like, honestly, I don't even. When I'm seeing it, I'm almost like in shock. And then I'm seeing the pundits and the guys working in and around Matchroom suddenly outraged. Suddenly, this can't happen.
But it's
been happening on their watch for years. Suddenly that can't happen. I was absolutely. I found it bemusing, and I'm still waiting for someone to come and tell me it was a parody. This was all a joke.
Part of you, I can see it. You find it amusing that Ben's gone to Zuffa and has left Hearn and Matchroom.
I find it bemusing, the reaction. I find it bemusing. Amusing and bemusing. I find it absolutely wild, the reaction.
Do you not see, though, that under the circumstances that were surrounding this, what I'm saying was the support that they gave Conor Benn. This is the reason for the conversations that we were all having. You go, there was a support there that they gave Conor Benn when most promoters, probably including yourself, would have walked away from Conor Benn after failing not one test, but 2 tests, right? And they stuck with him. They took the bullets for the best part of 2 years. A lot of it coming from here, from talkSPORT. At least give him the courtesy to have the conversation.
No, I agree, Spencer. By the way, Jim,
are you sympathising with Hearn?
I'm not sympathising with anyone. I'm saying a courtesy call would have been quite nice. I'm all for the fighter, but these circumstances were different to any other.
I agree with. Just lastly, I agree with Spencer on that. He should have done it.
Yeah, he should have done.
But all I'm saying is, it's like bullies in the playground. You know, when you have these guys and they're in one corner of the playground and they're just having it off against everyone. Yeah, but the first opportunity one of them gets to do the other one over, they're going to take it. And that's all it is. That's all it is. So
you're loving this, Simon.
That's what it is.
You are loving it.
I've never seen Simon Jordan laugh so much on a show in all my life.
But at the end of the day, it's not. It is. Unfortunately, our business is the highest bidder, and any promoter that tries to say that it's not, unfortunately, it is.
Loyalty and boxing. Ben Shalom with us this lunchtime. So too Spencer Oliver. Spencer, always good to see you. Right. Mr. Jordan, where do we go from here?
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.